I swear the words are still ringing in my head, like a bell that refuses to stop echoing. My day would be better without you. My wife, my everything, looked me dead in the eyes that morning and said it with such casual sharpness, as though it were a simple truth, not a blade she had just twisted into my chest. I remember standing there, coffee mug in hand, staring at her. The steam fogged up my glasses a little, and it felt almost fitting, like my entire life had suddenly gone out of focus. "Excuse me," I finally asked, my voice cracking like a teenager's. Emily didn't flinch. She didn't soften. She just sighed, as though I were some exhausting burden she'd carried for too long. "You heard me, Daniel. Everything you do lately just drags me down. Sometimes I think my whole day would go smoother if you weren't here." For 15 seconds, maybe longer, I said nothing. I just watched her turn back to her phone, thumbs scrolling with ease, as if she hadn't just bulldozed everything we had built together. I placed the mug down, quietly enough not to spill. My hands trembled, but I steadied them on the counter. I didn't want to beg. I didn't want to argue. I didn't even want to cry. So I walked out. I didn't grab my keys or wallet. I didn't plan on how far I'd go. I just needed to breathe air that wasn't poisoned by her words. The chill hit me first. Early autumn, the kind that bites your skin awake. I walked aimlessly through our neighborhood, past the maple trees shedding red and gold, past neighbors watering lawns, past the familiar houses that looked like they belonged to people who hadn't just had their hearts crushed. I must have walked for 15 minutes, maybe more. My head spun with questions, memories, and that single sentence looping over and over again. But then my phone buzzed in my pocket. Text. From Emily. It said, "Don't bother coming back right now." Nothing else. No explanation, no apology. Just a command. My stomach dropped. 1,000 possibilities shot through my mind. None of them good. And that's when suspicion crept in. The kind I'd been pushing away for months. The late nights at work. The sudden bursts of laughter over texts she wouldn't share. The distance in bed, her body angled away from mine. Her excuses about being too tired, too stressed, too something. I turned around and walked faster. By the time I reached our street, I was sweating, my heart pounding so hard it echoed in my ears. I slowed as I approached the house, half afraid of what I might see. And then I did. Through the front window, barely shielded by the half-closed curtains, I saw her. Emily wasn't alone. A man stood in our living room, tall, broad-shouldered. His jacket draped casually over one of our dining chairs. He leaned close to her, too close, his hand brushing against her arm as he laughed at something she said. And her smile, God, it gutted me. It was the smile she used to give me. My throat burned. I pressed myself against the side of the house like some intruder, peering in through the narrow gap. She touched his chest lightly, in that playful way that used to make my pulse race. I couldn't breathe. I stumbled back onto the sidewalk, shaking my head like maybe I'd imagined it. But no amount of denial could erase what I'd just seen. My wife, my Emily, betraying me in our own home, minutes after telling me life would be better without me. I didn't storm inside. I didn't scream or confront them. Not yet. I walked again, but this time every step was heavy, my body fighting against the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. Questions burned through me. How long had this been going on? Was this the reason for every cold shoulder, every late night, every sudden argument? Was this man the reason my wife looked at me as if I were nothing more than a shadow in her life? I ended up at a park bench, staring at children playing on swings, their laughter slicing through my fog. A father pushed his daughter higher, his smile genuine, his love clear. And I realized, this was what I thought I had with Emily. A life built on trust, on promises whispered in the dark, on rings exchanged with trembling hands. And now it was all a lie. I don't know how long I sat there, but the sky had begun to gray by the time I returned. When I finally stepped back into the house, the air felt heavier, laced with something unspoken. The man was gone. His jacket no longer hung on our chair. Emily stood by the counter, her arms crossed, her face carefully neutral. "You came back," she said flatly. I stared at her, my throat dry. Who was he? Her eyes flickered just for a second, then hardened. "Just a friend." The laugh that escaped me was bitter, raw. "A friend? You had him here 15 minutes after I walked out. You think I'm that stupid?" "Daniel," she started, but I cut her off. "No. Don't you dare. Don't you dare feed me another lie." Her jaw tightened. "Fine. He's someone I've been seeing." The words fell like a hammer, smashing the last fragile pieces of hope inside me. "How long?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Her silence was answer enough. The argument that followed was fire and ash. I asked why, desperate for some answer that could make sense of it all. She said she felt unloved, unseen, suffocated by the monotony of our life together. She claimed this man, his name was Mark, made her feel alive again. I wanted to scream that I had tried, that I had given everything. That love wasn't always fireworks. Sometimes it was steady warmth, the kind that kept you alive in the dead of winter. But she didn't want warmth anymore. She wanted flames, even if they burned everything down. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this," she whispered finally, her eyes shining with something I couldn't tell was guilt or fear. I shook my head slowly. "You meant for me to leave. You wanted me out of the way. That's why you said it." Her silence told me I was right. That night I packed a bag. She didn't stop me. She didn't beg. She didn't even cry. She just stood there, arms folded, watching me dismantle the life we had built, piece by piece, into a suitcase. Before I walked out the door, I turned to her one last time. "You said your day would be better without me. I hope you're right, Emily. Because from now on, you'll never have to spend another one with me." Her lips parted like she wanted to respond, but no words came. And then I left. It's been weeks since that day, but the pain lingers like an open wound that refuses to heal. I replay the moment over and over. Her words, her smile at him, the way she didn't fight for me when she had the chance. I wonder if she regrets it. I wonder if the fire she chased has already begun to scorch her. As for me, I've stopped wondering whether her day would be better without me. Because mine is certainly better without her.